Hello, everyone. I'm feeling really good about today's episode. My name is Elena. I'm your host of the Commerce Experience podcast. I'm the Senior Manager of Community and Social Media. And I'm so excited Roxy Couse is joining me today for the show. We are in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're here for an offsite. So I thought we could get together and try something new with this episode. And I really want to dissect the phenomenon of luxury e-commerce. So is it on the rise or is the bubble about to burst? As a marketer myself and Roxy having over a decade of merchandising experience, we're noticing a large shift and I really want to break it down with you. So thank you for joining.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
And welcome to the Queen City. I'm secretly trying to get her to move here, so we'll make it happen one of these days. I know we've been talking about doing a co-hosted episode for a long time, and I'm really excited to get your expert take on this topic because you actually saw this article in the New York Times, and it's called, "Has the Luxury E-Commerce Bubble Burst?" Now, being a marketer, I feel like we hear this every other week, but email is dead, SEO is dead, cold calling is dead. Do we actually think the luxury market is bursting, or is it just more indicative of a market shift overall? What do you think?
Yeah, and I mean, people are always talking about like e-commerce is dead or whatever. And just going back to just our Bloomreach data and what we're seeing, we were looking at quarter over quarter, so 2024 versus 2023. And what we're seeing is that traffic is up. So like people are still shopping and browsing, but we're seeing revenue being down and conversion being down, which, you know, that could say a number of things. That means that people are starting their research online, which is consistent with like high consideration purchases. I mean, I've worked for many different businesses in my career, one being appliances, where like this is like a huge dollar purchase, yeah. Where people would start their research on the brand site, and this is very expensive. So then they go on and like they buy it in store. I think that's consistent with like the luxury vertical also. It's like this is a very expensive purchase. And while you do want to do some comparison shopping and things online, when you're ready to buy, you're probably going in the store, like just so that you can experience the product in person before you actually swipe your card.
I am such a experienced shopper. I want to feel it. I want to touch it. I want to like mull over it for a little while.
I know.
Especially if I'm paying a lot of money.
I know. Yeah,
that's just me.
I can't imagine. I know there's people who, you know, buy cars online, like a Tesla.
I could never.
You've designed it and then like you're just ready to pick it up. I just feel like once I got the product, I'm going to find something wrong where like I do need to experience it before.
And then you're going to be mad at yourself because
exactly.
You're like, I didn't come see it first. And
buyer's remorse is like, that's real.
It's the worst. Well, obviously we're in e-commerce and we talk to a lot of brands, and at the time, I mean, I guess over the past decade, luxury e-commerce was exciting when you could shop online, and it was exclusive brands and products and free returns, and then maybe that 90-minute delivery service with the luxury items. But now it's becoming less of a novel concept because everyone is shopping online and every retailer can sell online. Do you think that luxury brands are feeling that in a sense where they have to differentiate themselves because you could shop at Walmart.com and then you can also shop at YSL, you know?
Right.
What do you think?
Right. I think luxury brands are more accessible than they have ever been before, you know, so like marketplaces are huge, Amazon, Walmart, like, and I think it's so important to meet the customer where they are. Like when you, luxury brands and even like manufacturers try to train a customer to like come to us to buy, like direct to consumer has been huge, especially in the COVID years. But I do think that what you might have been considered like a premium experience in the past is like table stakes, like Amazon with their like, I mean, 1-day shipping now, and like same day, like based on like where you are, customers like expect that. And so it's so important for, even as like a luxury brand, for you to like raise the bar, continue to elevate and think about like, how do I create a really good experience, whether that be through personalization, because not every customer looks alike, their preferences differ, or just thinking about like a differentiated experience. You know, just because one brand is doing it doesn't mean that you have to, but it does mean that like you should understand your customer, where they're shopping, and how you can meet them where they are. And I think that's important.
I think that's why, and during my research of this, and we wanted to talk about some headlines and just kind of get our commentary and see what we think, but I've been seeing a lot of luxury brands partner with department stores, and I feel like post-COVID, or maybe pre-COVID, department stores were kind of like, no one was shopping at them because everybody was at home, and then and online was big, but then when we came back to real world, it was like, oh no, I need to go in store. So I've been seeing some collabs where it's like, we're partnering with department stores, like you can get our products there too, but maybe we can create this experience. And Christy and I talked about this on our last episode for the Commerce Experience Summit, where brands are making a real effort to bring you out and to show you that their product is luxurious and something worth buying, especially if you're spending a lot of money on it. So I guess, have you seen any fun collabs like that? I guess department stores is kind of like a unique collab because the direct to consumer is now popular as well.
I mean, I definitely do. I mean, for example, like Lululemon, I've seen like their like pop-ups, which is awesome. Like actually the mall closest to my house, there was like this pop-up for a really long time. And I'm pretty sure they were just trying to prove the value, like, can this be impactful? And now there's like an actual store, which I think is really cool. I do think I see like premium brands at like Target now, like, you know, Levi's is like a mid price point, but I mean, when you're shopping for denim, like that can be like that's high consideration too, depending on, you know, where you usually shop. But like you see like these pop-up experiences, I see like partnerships like Ulta being purchased at like, in Target, like, or Sephora and Kohl's, like these, and these are like retailers like partnering with each other, but I think brands are also doing that as well, and just figuring out like, where's the best place to buy my products? I think this is also like understanding the personas of your customers. Like, yes, they might buy like, actually for me, for example, like I might have on Lululemon leggings, but then like my shirt and my jacket came from like Target or like Walmart. Like that's the same customer. Like not everything head to toe is like luxury. So just understanding that customer holistically is so important, because that allows you to be like, oh, I know who our customer is, I know where they shop, and I'm gonna meet them like where they are. And I think that's really
the pressure's on for retailers, and I think we talk about that a lot on this podcast, to where if you're not stepping up your game on all levels, and the omni-channel is really important, where I love what you said, they're searching online, they're doing their research, but maybe they're heading in store for an event that you might have. So the pressure is on for sure, but I want to get your take, and we're both millennials, so we joke about kind of the millennial shopping habits, but I want to talk about Gen Z, because I saw something interesting about the fact that they are now the Dupe Generation, and 6 billion views under the hashtag Dupe. And I feel like they care so little about having the designer or the luxury item. They're like, how can I get the look for less? And is that affecting the luxury e-commerce bubble at all? What is your take on that?
I think so too. I think it is. I mean, that's like the trend about like quiet luxury. Like people don't necessarily want to be like pushing brands out loud necessarily. Like, you know, your outfit could be expensive, but like you would never know because of this like quiet luxury trend. But I think also dupes, or it doesn't even matter what the price point is. Like if the brand is premium and they can get it for less on like Amazon, like you see a lot of that. Like people are buying dupes. Like, where can I get this item that looks just like the one that everybody's wearing that's a luxury brand for less? And I don't think that trend is going to slow down.
I feel like, and maybe it's the girl thing in us, but like anytime you say, oh my God, I love your outfit, where did you get it?
I know.
And you want to feel like you got a steal. And there's something exciting about that. We're like, I got this steal and you can get it too. And you didn't have to spend thousands of dollars. It's almost like if you do spend thousands of dollars, you're the weirdo. Like, I don't know. And not literally, because I do think that there is a market for people who really love the high-end stuff. But I think maybe we're in a situation where we're all maximizing the amount of money that we have to spend on extra purchases. And if I can get 10 things for the price of that one bag that I really think I might want, I can deal with something that looks similar but not the same. So
totally, like, and to your point, it's like somebody asks you like, where'd you get that from? You're like, girl, Walmart. It's almost like it's like a flex. To be
like, I found that on Walmart.com. Well, and I hate to see it, and I don't want to say luxury is bursting, from my opinion. I think that there is still a market, and that brings me to my next point is Gen Z even the target audience for luxury brands? Because Gen Z hasn't yet advanced in their career. They're probably not starting out making money enough to be able to splurge and have those, you know, extra expenses. So do you think that contributes to that? And I guess, are they paying attention because they might not be their target audience?
I think somewhat, but I mean, there's always going to be like fans, like, well, stans, that's the Gen Z term. Like, people love Coach. Like they like, for example, they want a Coach bag. They want, like, you know, and it's like they like curate these things that they love, and I think that's really cool. Like, there's always going to be, regardless. Like, I mean, I can remember like early in my career, you know, buying expensive things that I didn't have like necessarily, like spending my whole paycheck on, like, you know, this thing that I wanted. I think you're always going to have those, you know, shoppers regardless of like age. I know that like brands are definitely targeting the younger demographic because like these are like their buying power is only increasing, and you know, and they're heavy on social, very aware, love sustainability. So like I think also like as a brand, your value prop is so important, and you can, you know, if like someone resonates with your brand, they're going to buy it regardless of price point. And I think we also have to consider that too.
It could be an aspirational thing too. If I save, and I really want that Coach bag, that's something to work towards. So it could be that level of inspiration, and you're like, work hard and you will get this bag. And you obviously do whatever you want to do with your money, but buy with us. So I think also they're leaning on influencers, because if an influencer says, I'm 24 and I got this bag, and you're like, oh, should I be getting that bag too? So there is a little bit of peer pressure in having the nice things, which I think maybe it's just a different way of people shopping.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, you know, as well. And yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So now that we've established that retailers need to be thinking differently to meet consumer expectations and think about how they're shopping, you're the expert here. So I'm curious, what would your advice be for luxury brands to stay on top of things, and just your take on the topic in general?
Yeah. So my feedback would be to really get to know your customer, obsess over them, their wants, their needs, their desires, like where the friction is in your experience. And that's how, you know, we talk about like, just going back to e-commerce, customer lifetime value, and like building this like, you know, customer for life. It's really going to be about obsessing over that experience. There are a lot of brands, especially luxury, who a customer buys from you once and then they never shop again. And you want them to come back. You want them to continue to buy from you and keep you top of mind when they are in the market for a luxury, you know, item or experience, something that you can provide them, service. I think that's so important, like differentiating like your value prop. What do you do that's different and better than anyone else? And then also the table stakes are so important. You know, you in today's economy, you really can't afford to not do like things like free shipping, you know, or like white glove service, especially when that price point is so high. Like,
bake it in.
You need to have the best experience. Like I'm talking about, if I were to call your customer service and I've purchased from you before, like you should call me by name. Like those are like those elevated experiences that make people feel special, especially when you're spending your dollars on something that is like very expensive. So experience is everything.
And don't drop the ball. I think that keeping that high standard for yourself and for your customers just shows that you value them. You'll get them to come back. I mean, loyalty is so important, which sneak peek, we might talk about that soon on our next mini episode. But I think those are all really great points. And I think just in the industry in general, we have to keep these things in mind. And we're going to keep talking about it, because at Bloomreach, we speak to brands and we figure out what they need from us and from the technology and how to enable them as well. So I'm excited to see where brands take this, and obviously the article, we'll post it at the bottom of this link if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on a podcast service. Totally up to you. But that is the rest of our episode. So thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
As always, thanks for listening to the Commerce Experience podcast. And if you're looking for more insights like this, sign up for our newsletter. It's called The Edge, and it's all of the insights you need to stay on top of this industry. We talk about user-generated content, social commerce, conversational shopping. So click the link in our bio or scan the QR code if you're watching on YouTube or any podcast service. But that's it for now. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.